Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys, I'm going to be profiling for you my most favorite deck of all time. And as you can see by the playmat, that is Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers are one of the OG archetypes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually. They are one of the original archetypes that came out in the early part of Yu-Gi-Oh's history, and I actually built them back then. Back then we ran things like Gravekeeper's Chief, Gravekeeper's Spy still, Gravekeeper's Assailant. You didn't have Descendant, you didn't have Recruiter, you just had Spy, Flip, bring out Assailant to run over things, and hopefully you didn't even have Commandant to search out Necro Valley. You had to use Terraforming or hard draw it. So yeah, those were different times in the Gravekeeper days, but the deck evolved over time. And when after I took a little break in Yu-Gi-Oh back in 2008, 2009 for a hot moment, I came back in, and Gravekeepers soon got a new card called Gravekeeper's Recruiter, which came out of Starstrike Blast, and it actually helped this deck top a couple of YCSs and regionals even, which was awesome. So this deck has always been popular. I got an invite with this deck a long time ago. It feels like, I think it's been a long time, but I did get an invite with this deck a long time ago. But I've always loved this deck. It is very special and dear to my heart, and I really love this deck to pieces. I know I've been singing its praises probably here for the last minute and a half, but literally, guys, this is my favorite deck of all time. So, without further ado, let us get into the deck profile. So first off, we're going to run our 3 Gravekeeper's Recruiter. Now, I'm going to say this, some people like to cut down on the Gravekeeper's Recruiter. I understand flip effects are very slow nowadays. Heck, I think if we even had a monster that said, destroy all your opponent's spells and traps and monsters on the field, like it was a JD type of card and it was a flip effect, I don't know if everybody would run it, per se. That's how people they look at flip effects nowadays. However, Spy is probably the best one because she has an archetype based around it. And for a long period of Gravekeeper's history, she's been the backbone of the deck, and she's the power play of the deck, pretty much. Because you set her, you'll flip her up, and you go into different things. And even nowadays, she can help set up fusion plays, she can help set up clearing boards. She's so versatile in what she can do, because you can go set, Spy, flip, bring out a Descendant or Recruiter, and pop a card. Or you can now go set, flip, Spy, set, flip, bring out Gravekeeper's Spiritualist. Go for a fusion play if you have Necro Valley on the field. And she can be abused now more than ever because of Gravekeeper's Headman, which helps reset her. So because of that, I like her as a 3 over in the deck. You may want to run 2 of it, I get it, but the way they've built the deck and the support we've gotten now makes her still viable because they've given support to help her out. So 3 Gravekeeper Spies, a must-have, I feel like, still. Next we run 3 Gravekeeper's Recruiter. You don't leave home without it, guys. I'm being honest. You gotta run 3 Gravekeeper's Recruiter. I've seen people run 2 of this, and I'm kind of shaking my head like, why? Like, when it dies, it's going to get a search off for something. It can search pretty much everything except Gravekeeper's Recruiter. Gravekeeper's Spy and Gravekeeper's Recruiter itself. So, yeah. And the fact that it's a 17 beater if you have Necro Valley on the field is great. It has a 2000 booty if hey, you just need to set it and pass. But it's still good because it's your main searcher for the deck. So, 3 Gravekeeper's Recruiter. Hopefully one day we get a holo print of some of these other Gravekeepers, but that's fine. Gravekeeper's Spiritualist is really nice in this deck. Initially I was running it as a 2 of. Nowadays I run it as a 3 of because it's really awesome in the deck. So this card is going to help you go for your fusion plays for your deck. The main one being, because Gravekeepers really never abuse the extra deck, is going to be Gravekeeper Supernaturalist, which is amazing for the deck. It helps the deck out so much. You never used to use the extra deck. And everybody used to say for years we should get a rank 4 Exceed. Well, we got a fusion. Not what I was expecting, but maybe one day we'll get a rank 4 Exceed, but we got a fusion first off. So it's a pretty good fusion too, and it's very easy to bring out. Naturalist, and Spiritualist helps you do that. Now, don't discontent the fact that if you do have Necro Valley on the field, she becomes a 2000 attacker and has also 2000 defense. She's pretty versatile and good in the deck once you have Necro Valley out on the field. So Good card. Next we run 3 Commandant. You got to get to your Necro Valley. It's next to Spy. It's your backbone of your deck. Your deck does not function if you don't have Necro Valley. I'll say it again. The deck does not function if you don't have Necro Valley. So you run 3 Commandant and you run 3 Necro Valley. I've seen people cut Commandant down to 1 of recently. I am shaking my head in shame. No, good sir. Don't do that. I know my buddy Reggie, who used to play Gravekeepers back in the day and is a good friend of mine, can concur with this statement. You run 3 Commandant. It searches Necro Valley for you. Next, we run Headman. So Headman's very versatile for the different plays you can do. It can help you bring back a Spiritualist if you need to help go for a fusion play, which is cool. It can help bring back a Descendant for a simple pop, because you can bring out Gravekeeper's Descendant if it's dead, then pop this, then just attack. You can also reset your Spy, which is cool. You can do that. You can go up, reset Spy. Good, cool. So it's so versatile in the different plays it can do, but it does take setup because you have to have Gravekeepers already in the graveyard, and if you don't, it becomes dead. So it's not like one of those first turn type of starter cards. It's a once you're in the grind game, once you got the deck going, because this is a grindy deck. It likes to grind out its opponents by locking down with Necro Valley and other cards to stun your opponent and then grind out for a victory. That's the way the deck's always been. That's the way that probably it's always going to be by this point. But saying that, it's really amazing in that grind game because you get to reuse your resources. So definitely 2 Headman in the deck. Next up, we run 1 Descendant. Descendant's still useful in the deck overall, I would say. Like I was saying earlier, you can use it with Headman to put him in attack mode and then pop Headman to destroy something. You can use it by the old simple play of going Recruiter, get it pop, Recruiter, get a search, or depend upon what you have in hand. If you have a Spy, I mean, you guys should know this play if you play Gravekeepers at all. If you've had a Spy and one of these two, you can set the Spy. Let's say I have Descendant in hand, okay, and so I can go flip Spy after I set it, bring out Recruiter, normal summon, pop, destroy 2 cards, and you can do that either way. But that's the old way that we've done it for years. But yeah, definitely Descendant is amazing in the deck to run, I find. We don't run Gravekeeper's Assailant anymore because of Link monsters. I do like the card, but it's just not as useful as it used to be. Because of that reason, Link's pretty much killed Assailant. I hate to say it. But Descendant still reigns supreme. Next up, we have 3 Necro Valley. You may say, wait, you don't have Ulti Necro Valleys? I never cared for the Ulti Necro Valleys. Can I be honest with you on that? I really didn't. I actually liked the Legendary Collection version. I don't know why. That's just the way I am. I just never liked the Ulti Necro Valleys. So you may be asking why the ratio and rarity is out of place. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I used to run Gravekeepers back in the day. There is one card in this deck that has been in my Gravekeeper deck since the beginning of time, since I created this deck, and that's the Super Necro Valley, which initially piqued my interest in Gravekeepers when I pulled it many moons ago, and ever since then I've played the deck. So that's the story behind this Super Necro Valley and why it looks out of place in this rarity. But 3 Necro Valley, it's staple. It's been errated multiple times, so make sure you know the current errata. It's an amazing card now. I think they've pretty much made it full power Necro Valley, which is awesome. It's such a good card. It's probably, I would say probably like, it has to be in the top 3 best field spells of all time, maybe, with at least top 5. Like, come on. It's that good of a card. Next, we run 3 Gravekeeper's Throne. This is your Rhoda for the deck nowadays. Holy sweet baby Jesus, I love this card. This is what Gravekeepers always needed. A Rhoda that acts as a double summon. Oh my gosh. I've loved this card since it came out. So if I need to search a Gravekeeper, I can search it out now, and I don't have to rely wholly on Recruiter. While Recruiter is still integral to the deck, this is a Rhoda. In addition to that, it acts as a double summon, which is awesome. So I love it. Love it. Next up, we run and Konami. Thank you for finally doing this a few formats ago. Thank you. I have had these 3 before it got limited, and I've been waiting to use them again. So, thank you. 3 Royal Tribute. Just don't Royal Tribute a BA deck. Please. Even then, I think they would have a hard time. But please don't do it to like Light Swarms and then they drop a JD on your butt. That can happen. Okay. So, jokes aside. 3 Royal Tribute. 2 Hidden Temples. This is pretty much a little bit watered down version of Vanity's Emptiness. Now, saying that, with the ability to bring out your fusion nowadays, which can help protect your field, this becomes really good. It is not uncommon nowadays to have Necro Valley this out on the field, and you've pretty much locked your opponent down from special summoning first turn. And you've shut down their graveyard. And unless they have an out, they're going to go set pass. It's a lot more common now because of the ease that you can go for Necro Valley and Hidden Temples of Necro Valley. It's super easy nowadays. So, 2 of it, you don't need 3 of it, but it's still good. And even if they destroy it, you've probably brought enough time. We run 1 Gravekeeper Stele. We still run this card. It's pretty much helps you recycle Gravekeepers from your graveyard. Even though we have Headman, this is still good. And we still run it as a 1-of in the deck. So 1 Gravekeeper Stele. 3 Allure of Darkness. The reason it took me so long to do a deck profile and a deck update of this deck, guys, is for one simple reason. I was going back and forth between Pot of Extravagance and Allure of Darkness. And at the end of the day, I said, well, I would prefer Allure personally, because I did rely upon the extra deck and the integrity of you don't want to banish your Supernaturalist with Extravagance. So for that reason is the why I went with Allure of Darkness, and I haven't looked back since. And this happened about 2 months ago. And literally for about 3-4 months, I was going back and forth, doing constant play testing. And then it just dawned upon me, I was like, I've been banishing my Naturalist, and it may not be just, I may have one still in the extra deck, but I would need a second one, and I've already banished it. So at the end of the day, I decided to run Allure of Darkness instead. And I've never looked back since then. And so I'm going to go with Allure of Darkness in this deck. In addition to that, I just decided to run some 1-ofs. So we have 1 Upstart Goblin, makes it a 39 card deck, gives you a little bit more consistency. It's great. 1 Double or Nothing. You can easily go for rank 4s in this deck. You don't have a generic, Gravekeeper rank 4, but you can still OTK with Utopia Double. So these are the 1-of spells. We don't run Monster Reborn because of Necro Valley. We don't run anything else because of that reason. So just these 2 1-of spells. For traps, as you can imagine, we run some heavy traps. So I run 2 Necro Valley Temple. This card's pretty good. If you guys are not too familiar with this card and what it does, I'm going to read it to you because not a lot of people do. Why Gravekeeper monster and Necro Valley are both on the field, monsters your opponent control lose 500. Attack and defense. Once per turn during the main phase, if you control no card in your field zone, you can activate 1 Necro Valley directly from your hand or graveyard. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's effect and sent to the graveyard, you can set 1 Necro Valley spell or trap directly from your deck. So, in a nutshell, this card, A, lowers your opponent's attack by 500, which you may not think is a big deal until you start playing this deck. Number 2, it helps you activate Necro Valley, which is awesome. And you can sometimes bluff your opponent by just, oh, bad hand, man. And especially if you're in a tournament and they don't know what you're playing, you go set this, and you have Necro Valley in hand. They go first, they start thinking about what they're doing, and then you activate this, and then drop the Necro Valley on your turn. And then they're going to go, oh, well, my deck's screwed. And it happens. It really does. And the fact that you can reuse your Necro Rally from graveyard is amazing. With Lightning Storm running about and being one of the main outs to this deck, hey, if this gets destroyed, you get a search. And set it. Awesome, right? So, great card to have in the deck. 2 Imperial Tombs. This, guys, is pretty much Judgment. Solemn Judgment, pretty much, is this card, except it requires Necro Valley and a Gravekeeper on the field. It's a 2 of. Next, I run 1 Rite of Spirit. This is pretty much kind of your Monster Reborn for the deck. I mean, it's kind of like a combination between Call of the Haunted and Monster Reborn, like, pretty much. I would say it's kind of more nowadays, like, Back to the Front, and Call of the Haunted and Monster Reborn had a baby. That's kind of what it is. But yeah, great card. It helps you with combo plays in the deck. It's really useful in the deck, especially with Recruiter and Descendant. And lastly, 3 Solemn Judgment. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. You could run Infinite Impermanence. That is something you could run in the deck, and I was thinking about it. But I want to control the tempo of the deck. So Infinite Impermanence is great. If you want to replace them with Infinite Impermanence, be my guest. If you would prefer Solemn Judgment, be my guest. The reason I like Solemn Judgment is because A, I used to run it back in the day, okay, and it worked really well. And B, because from playing this deck, I was finding that this is a control deck. Infinite Impermanence will stop monster effects, but it's not going to stop a Lightning Storm, a Twin Twisters, something that's going to destroy your Necro Valley, right? You got to protect it. So this stops summoning, spells, and traps. Covers all your bases. What's the use of stopping the monster effect if the monster doesn't hit the field, right? That's the way I look at it. You know, if you can stop the monster from hitting the field, doesn't matter the life points. I'd rather do that than just negate an effect. And plus I get to cover Lightning Storm and all that stuff. Yeah, why not? So, that's the main deck, guys. I'm sorry for talking so long. I love this deck. We got our Gravekeeper's Field Spell. The main cards you're going to go for, guys, are the 3 Gravekeeper Supernaturalist, which you're going to need to run. In addition to that, I run some rank 4s. So we have number 41, Bagasucha, Tornado Dragon, Castell, number 82, Heartland Drago, which is good because you run a field spell deck. We run the Utopia package, so Utopia Double and Utopia. Exciton Knight, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. So these are all your rank 4s and your fusions. Now onto your links. Cerberus, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn. So your Nightmare package. We also run Black Luster Soldier, Black Luster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. And lastly, we run 1 Bull Sword Dragon over here. So that's your extra deck in a nutshell, guys. But I'm sorry this video took a little bit longer. When I get talking about this deck, I know the ins and outs. It's probably one of those type of decks, next to Six Samurai and Blue Eyes, that I could play in my sleep. And because I've played the deck for so long, I know just about every combo there is in the book. So, hope you guys didn't mind me talking for so long and enjoyed the deck profile, and hopefully it was helpful to you as well. And until next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling, go GKs, GKs for life, Holmes, and I'll see you guys next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.